Floyd Mayweather is over there just sitting, and he starts like waving in my direction. And I'm like, I just keep shooting. I'm like, there's no way he's like waving at me. I thought Cade was right next to me, so I'm like, okay, he's talking to Cade. And then Cade comes up to me, and he's like, yo, like, Floyd wants to talk to you. I'm like, what? What is going on? So I walk over there, and I talk to him. He's like, dude, like, you were a hooper. I watched you all in college. Like, I loved your game. Like, yo, you got to get out here, get some buckets, man. I'm like, hey, I'm trying. So that was like one of the most surreal moments of my life. It was like Floyd Mayweather's calling me over. He's like, and he was a big Iowa fan. There we go. Go Hawks. But,
after the camp, my players and I ran up to him and started doing the gritty. And he got mad.
I'll never forget the face of this cheerleader for the rest of my life.
Have you met the football players? They're the worst guys on campus.
Kate's like, yeah, we know blue too. And it's like yelling it out and stuff.
Sometimes he'll be in the hallway just pounding push-ups, going like, great morning, gentlemen!
Right.
You have to use the bleep button a lot.
That might be.
Welcome everybody into episode 23.
Season 2, episode 1. Yeah.
Season 2, episode 1, episode 23. We're out here with the very special guest, the National Player of the Year.
Twice.
Twice. My roommate, one of our best friends, Luka Garza, is in the building. He's a pro. He's out here coming back, working out for the week. We got some former players in town, so he was kind enough to join us. LG, appreciate you coming out.
my brothers, man, thank you for having me. Man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this will be good. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
the first thing we're gonna do is plug the camp that we're doing, because this episode will release before camp, so we got to get it all out there. Let's get all of it.
Awesome. Absolutely. So we're doing the Luka Garza Elite basketball camp with these two, and in Austin Ash.
Double A.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Double A.
Going all around. We're starting in Davenport August 16th. We got 2 different sessions, 3rd through 8th grade, and then 9th through 12th.
And that's at Beyond the Baseline?
Yes.
In Davenport, okay.
Yes. And then the second one is in Cedar Rapids, August 17th. Same kind of thing, 3rd through 8th in the morning session, then 9th through 12th, and then we're also doing on the 19th in Urbandale, Iowa. So it should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. Come meet the guys. You get to train with my dad, which will be an experience of its own. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see everybody out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it gonna go? Like have we gotten that far? Like, is Frank calling the shots and running the show, or like how exactly are we doing
I think
that?
it's a little bit of everything. I think we got Sam Elgin from Formula Basketball as well, and he's done this a lot before. My dad's gonna want to have a big hand in
Bro,
it.
Frank's going to have a hand
And
in
he-
there,
That's what I'm
bro.
saying, because like the way most camps work is you have you have stations, and then you like break into teams and do games, because it's really hard to do anything different with all the amount of people that we're gonna have.
Absolutely.
So like, is Frank gonna like just tell us what to do at every station, or is he just gonna run all the stations? Just Frank it? Like, I don't know.
Sam put something together.
Yeah, Sam's put some stuff together. I think my dad's going to want to have some unique things that he puts in there.
Skyhook.
That are things that he works on with me, just to kind of show, everybody what the infamous Frank Garza workouts are like. So I think he's going to want to have a little hand in there, but, Sam's going to do a great job as well.
I don't know if the children at the Luka Garza basketball camp can handle like what a Frank Garza.
Oh, it won't be the extreme stuff. It won't be running through a jungle. Or
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Holding bricks in your hands and doing slides, and it won't be any of that stuff. But we'll get a preview.
Okay, well let's talk about what like a true like Frank Garza like. Take me start to finish through like your most insane workout that you did with him. I want start to finish like what that was.
Dude, it's got to be the one where somebody was chasing you through the woods. It's got to be that one.
So we've had a couple different versions of that. We used to do, he did this running program in college, and for his college coach in Idaho. And so I went through that in a version in Hawaii. And, it's a bunch of stuff on the track. We're running 400s, we're running 100s. And we got to a part where we're running kind of a long-term, like 4-minute, trying to run as far as you can. And he starts chasing me because he doesn't think I'm running fast enough. So, I mean, granted, at this point, I'm not even in high school yet. And he's just running after me. And so it made me pick it up a little bit.
You gotta get a move on.
Yeah, it made me get a move on. So That's for sure. But no, and on the basketball court, we do a lot of different things. I mean, I think the mic and drill that we do is, obviously it's been done by a lot of people, but we're very intense about the different finishes that I work on, just because it translates so much to playing in the post. And then I think there's a lot of work on trying to get better on defense and defensive slides and stuff, and that's been consistent through. And when I was a kid, he wouldn't let me leave the paint until I made 25 swishes under the basket, so that was a little tough, and that helped me work on my jumper a little bit.
And now a message from our friends at Vibrant who want you to take a semester off.
Okay, I know they're bankers, but they know about NCAA eligibility, right?
Not a semester off from school, a semester off from car payments. Right now, if you take out an auto loan with Vibrant or move your current loan there, you won't owe any interest or need to make a single payment for 120 days.
Well, used Tesla is only about $50,000.
Just to be clear, you do have to make payments eventually.
But think about how much you'd save on gas.
Get the details at vibrantcreditunion.org/pocketmoney. All one word.
Yeah. Do you think you would like last in a Frank workout?
Yeah.
Like you'd be all right.
I mean, maybe not the ones where I'm chasing people up the hill, but as long as we're playing basketball, I'm fine.
No, I'm talking about the stuff off the court. Like
the
holding
slides.
the bricks and sliding around. And
I mean, bro, I could do it. I don't want to do it, but I could.
you could
I could do it.
You could do it.
I wouldn't want to do it. If we're gonna work on basketball, I'd
You'd
rather just play basketball.
You'd rather stay on the court.
But I can do it. Yes, it's just.
Did he ever make your sister do any of that stuff, or
So we tried to
That's
get
a
my
yes.
sister to play basketball at different points, and we worked on the Euro stuff, just basic stuff, trying to get her into it. And I remember he used to try to take her to my practices.
Oh, I remember.
And he took her to one practice, and I look over and halfway through the practice, my sister is sitting in the corner facing the concrete wall instead of looking at the gym. Just we're all playing, we're all practicing. She's on the opposite end, looking straight at the wall.
No interest.
So she wasn't very interested in basketball.
Yeah, no, definitely no interest.
I think hopefully Frank got the hint. All right, it's not.
Yeah,
I think back.
My dad tried for a little bit, and then he kind of just gave up on it. And she's been great in terms of supporting me and then kind of finding what she wants to do. So she's done a good job. And now, I mean, she obviously had to be around the game a lot, even though she didn't like it. She watches my games though, nobody else.
Only yours.
Yes.
Well, that's love. Yeah, take that. All right, so we've talked about some basketball stuff before. Obviously, last time you came on, but I want to get into what this year was like for you, in the pros, because so much of the game is so much different.
Absolutely.
You don't post up as much anymore. You're picking, rolling, picking pop for threes in some games. You told me you've been just drilling that floater in the middle of the mid post floater.
Short roll.
You've just been killing that, the short roll, killing that shot. So I'm just curious, the biggest adjustment for you coming into this year, going from college to the pros, the speed of the game obviously is gonna be very big time. But in terms of just how you play, how did you make those kind of adjustments just on the fly, or was it something that you had to drill into your mind because you weren't used to it?
It was challenging. I think the hardest thing about it is trying to figure out how you fit your game into a team of guys that are stars that have been the best player at every college they play to. You got guys making $20 million a year.
Yeah.
You got to figure out how you fit, how your game fits, how that translates. And so it was tough. I think the point in the year where everything kind of slowed down for me was the COVID period. I was out there 40 minutes a game for 3 games in a row. I think when you get that many minutes out there and you get that many reps, you just realize, hey, we're just playing basketball.
This is hoop. Yeah.
And so I think for the rest of the year, it was fairly easy for me once I got in the game to kind of play my game. And I think from that point in the season, I started to have a lot more confidence anytime I got an opportunity. But it was awesome. And I think as a rookie, not many guys get to experience that. I started 5 games for this year. Early in the year, obviously with the Isaiah Stewart ejection and stuff like that. So that gave me a couple games, and throughout the year I got a couple more, and it was valuable experience for sure.
It's like when AA, when somebody twists an ankle, AA will be moving up the depth chart one at a time.
Yeah, no, it was a tough situation, but I was pretty happy when I found out I was going to be starting 2 games, and it was November at that point.
Can we are we allowed to talk about that or no? Do you want to cover?
Yeah, I can go into that. I mean, that was
that had to be the most insane NBA game of last season.
I think it was the most insane on-court basketball scene I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely. You know, Isaiah Stewart is the nicest kid you'll meet, and he's such a hard worker, and he's so determined. And when he gets on the floor, he's the closest in terms of any teammate I've ever had that matches kind of like, as a big man, matches my, you know, competitive spirit, you know, who's going to play hard no matter what. I mean, you know, you guys remember, like, we playing in practice against the scout team. I'm going like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. He does the same thing in shoot around. I'm guarding him. He's hitting me with bows. Like, that's just the kind of kid he is. And so, you know, he gets hit during the game and in the face, and he kind of, like, doesn't realize what happened. And like, LeBron just kind of struck him in the face, and so he's a little bit upset. And he starts walking towards him, and I think he, like, touches his face and realizes there's blood on it, and he sees red. And I've never seen somebody want to go after somebody that hard ever. And you know, so obviously it took him a while to get him to the tunnel, but once we got him to the tunnel, it was, you know, me and our big man coach and like 3 other people trying to pin him down. And surprisingly enough, he broke free from all of us. There was about 1,200 pounds of weight just like trying to hold him down, and he just broke free. But we ended up getting him, and you know, he calmed down and understood. But you know, that's again, he is the nicest kid in the world you meet. He's just a competitor, and you know, where he's from and where he's grown up dealing with to get to where he is, you know, he doesn't take nothing from anybody.
Yeah.
And that's the tough kid he is. That's why he's going to be in the NBA for a very long time.
Bro, we were watching that game live, and we were just like,
we were up by 20.
We were like, is this really happening?
Yeah, no, it was a crazy moment. I've never seen, you know, anything like that. But
bro, nobody goes at Braun like that.
No,
like,
no,
nobody goes at Braun like that.
Again, that just kind of shows, you know, Isaiah Stewart's character. It doesn't matter who you are; he's going after you, and that's how he goes into every game. And I learned a lot from that, not just, you know, obviously that, but his mindset just going into every single game. So I'm really thankful to have had a guy like that as a teammate.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like so I asked TC this question, but I want to ask you this as well. You're welcome to the NBA moment. Like, is there one that like stands out?
Oh yes,
like,
there definitely is. You know, we're saying I think it's Game 3 or Game 4 of the NBA season. We're playing at Philly, and I'm not in the rotation.
You were cooking Embiid.
I'm not in the rotation, so I'm not really expecting to play, but I'm keeping an eye on everybody's fouls, and you know, I think that's kind of what you got to do. You're like counting them, like he's got 3, like, oh. So there's 4 minutes left, and I think it was Isaiah who actually got his like 3rd foul in the first half, which usually means we're going to the bench. So, you know, once he got the 3rd, I almost like stood up. I was excited to get in there, but I got my name called, and I went in there, and you know, first play, Embiid sees he guarding me. He's like, "Come on, we're running the play." So he starts. I think it was in 4 minutes. It was about 10 straight post-up isolations against me.
Just you.
But you know, I was able to hit a couple threes, and I started talking a little bit after the first one. Well, mostly because it was the first 3 I'd hit in the NBA, so I was kind of talking to myself.
You were
trying
just
to
happy.
Get me going a little bit, and you guys know how I am. So I think he took that as I was going after him, and he ended up getting some sort of offensive rebound, like, you know, knocked me out the way, got an and one, and he screamed at me and got a technical for like taunting. So it was a funny moment, and then I went down and hit another 3 against him, and you know, I was talking back again, and so it was just like a moment. Once I got into halftime, I was like, that really just happened. That was Joel Embiid out there, and so that was a surreal moment, and it was definitely a lot of fun.
Can you repeat like what he said when he yelled at you, or is that like?
I honestly don't even know how many curse words there were in like 3 words, but it was a lot. It was a lot, and it was just, he is a strong dude, and you know, and he is loud, and so I didn't really hear it, but no, I knew it was something bad.
No, dude. So we I don't know what we had that night, but like most of the time, like we'll be watching, but like that night we weren't watching. But Austin and I checking the ESPN app, and we're like, yo, like it's not even halftime yet. Luka has 2 threes.
Yeah,
like he's 2, whatever.
I was wrong.
And yeah, so we're like, yo, like we gotta go. But then we see, I think it was like Bleacher Report tweeted out like the video of like Embiid like and one, and like pushing you out of the way, and then getting a tech.
Yeah.
Like for yelling at you. It was like Embiid like teched up or something.
I got the next open three, and it was about pride at that point. I had to hit it.
You have no. There's
Oh
no,
yeah, you gotta.
That's a must hit.
You gotta shoot it. You gotta shoot it, and you gotta make
100%.
it. You can't pass it up because then you look scared. You gotta shoot it.
Exactly.
Did he ever like say anything else like after the game?
No, I saw he had said something in the press. In the media, they asked him about like that moment of us going back and forth, and I think he just said like, he just young kid gave a lot of good energy or something like that. Yeah. and so he did one of those.
He didn't want to like
flex his shoulders a little bit. He doesn't know who I am, so it was one of those moments. But no, I mean, it's always something to go against. Probably one of the most dominant big men we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that was a fun moment, a learning experience for sure.
It doesn't strike me as somebody who watches like a lot of college basketball.
Yeah.
Some guys like say like openly they don't watch any.
Oh, and everyone told me like going into the season like you're gonna be surprised, like you're never gonna turn on a college basketball.
Because you're not gonna have time, right? Isn't that what it is?
That's what they said, or they just said like it's gonna be hard to watch the game when you play the game in the NBA, and it's so much different. It's gonna be hard to watch. But I mean, I think I watched more college basketball this year than I've ever watched. I watched almost every single one of your guys' games, and I was checking in on other people because I think from college, every time we got home, we would watch every single game, basketball, baseball, anything that's on. And I think I just kept that habit up during the season, just seeing all the different moments. So for me that didn't really translate, but I understand what they're saying because it's a completely different game, like you were hitting on earlier. It's different.
Yeah. No, I heard like guys have like talked about that before, and I'm just like, yeah, like it's different, but like I like watching both, and like just like if I played in the NBA, I would still like watching college. I play in college, I'm still gonna like watching the NBA.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know.
It's still fun to watch when you see those environments. Like every game means so much in the regular season, which is a little bit different than the NBA when you're talking about you're on your 39th game, you're on a back-to-back. It's not like you're going that hard like you are at home against Minnesota, and you're like 4-4 in the Big Ten, and you need a win. It's just a little bit different.
It's just different. No, 100%. Did you feel that like intensity? Like, do you like realize it when we're in the moment? Like how like much like it means to us, but like if you look over like the course of like an entire season. Like, I mean, like, because like one game in college can change your season. Absolutely. If you think about it, but like that's not the case in the NBA. It's just not. Like, you play almost two times as many games for sure.
Just gotta roll with the punches, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the road environments, like seeing that, it's also unique. The NBA, obviously, there's great fan bases, but you're not going to see like those kind of college fan bases that are going crazy, all the chanting, all that stuff in these small arenas that make it even louder. The NBA is obviously bigger arenas, so it's just different in a lot of ways. But I think both are extremely fun to watch.
Is there not like one atmosphere that was like close?
No, like I think there were certain places that were like they were pretty crazy. I think Philly, honestly, everyone's heard about their fans like with every situation that's happened, but their fans are really crazy. You can hear them; they're chirping you the whole game. So I think Philly was one of those places that kind of stuck out in terms of like. That was more like what I heard in the Big Ten. People shouting out crazy things at me. Maryland, we played there once, and I just, I was a year. I dated a girl from back home in Maryland. I was hearing her name during the game, and I'm like, what's going on? So, it's similar to a little bit to that with Philly.
I remember that. That was
Dude, but
crazy.
like we played Maryland this year, and they were bad. It was so dead.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
They're one of those places that they got to be good to get a lot of people there.
Like, bro, it was like we might as well have played them during the COVID year. Where there was nobody there.
Yeah, it's not like Nebraska where it's like no matter what their record is, they're
1-16. It was sold out.
Sold out.
Unreal. They have an unreal fan base.
It's nuts.
Unbelievable. And like NIL and everything. Like, dude, there's like advertising like NIL they're advertising NIL on the scoreboard like during the game, like
That's
telling
crazy.
people what like link to go to.
Yeah,
which is nuts. Like if you think about
Definitely.
it. But no, yeah, for sure. On the road trips and stuff, I wanna talk about like what travel is like, because you just hear so many stories. Like, I guess first of all, did you have a team that was like big into like cards and stuff, and did you ever get into that?
I stayed away. They're playing with some big boy money over there, but no, there's definitely
You couldn't hang.
Yeah,
You couldn't hang.
I would watch from afar and just be like, wow. But no, they're especially as a rookie. I'm like, you know, your checks don't start hitting until November, so you know I don't got that much in my account yet. So these guys are playing like you know they don't realize.
Don't
like,
throw out any names, but like, what was like just say like player X threw out how much money and like that you saw. Just right there.
All I could tell you was that like
Say a name.
No, don't say a name.
I had some
Don't say a name.
friends that were playing in those games, and it was just like each trip they were like they're either down like 5 to 10,000 or up 10,000, then they lose 20,000 next time. I'm like, we're playing with a lot of money here. I can't do all that.
Just cash.
Yeah, no, and it's just a lot of cash flowing. A lot of guys. They wouldn't. One time I remember we landed somewhere, and I think I fell asleep. I wasn't watching, and I got off the plane, and I think the guy that was playing was my ride. I had to wait about 45 minutes because they wouldn't let him leave until they got through with the game. They wanted to keep going. One of them was there who was down, who just wanted to keep going. So, I'm watching Netflix on my phone in his car because he left it unlocked, and I'm just waiting for him to get done. But that's just kind of how it is. So you have like the one table, and then that's like 4 or 5 people playing, and the rest of everybody's just watching something or asleep. Because sometimes if we're traveling after a game, it takes us a while to get back to the bus. People got interviews, and these guys are playing every single time. So no matter we land at 5 a.m. or on a back-to-back or whatever it is. But no, it is pretty crazy.
Do you know like what game they play? Is it Blu-ray?
I think it is Blu-ray. Yeah. So first of all, I don't really know how to play the game anyway, and every time I think I know how to play, something happens where I'm like, okay, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. So it's hard to keep up with it.
Everyone plays that game, and I think I asked TC like also.
Yeah. I think it's like close to spades, but then there's like something different. I don't know.
Dude, I like really want to learn how to play because everyone's obsessed with it.
Yeah. No,
like they all talk about it.
I want to learn how to play, but I don't know if I want to play.
You gotta get to like another contract.
Yeah,
before
I
you
think
start, like really.
We're talking 4 or 5 years, and maybe I'll be in a situation.
Maybe after the Luka Garza Academy.
Yeah, we're gonna need a whole lot of campers out there.
Campers like
run it up.
We need 500 apiece. But dude, because JJ, like on JJ Redick's podcast, he said like they were talking with, I think it was with Draymond Green, and they said like there's been road trips where players have lost $75,000 to $80,000 like in one road
I'm
trip.
sure. Well, especially like if you're going on the road, we're talking about 4 or 5 different flights because if you go to a West Coast trip and you're an East Coast team, like you're going out, you're playing all those teams together because you can't just be going back and forth across the country. So we're going out to LA. We got 2 games. We got to play the Lakers, got to play the Clippers, and we went up to Portland, play the Trailblazers. Then we went to Phoenix, and then we're back. So you're talking about 4 or 5 trips, and they're playing every trip. So we're talking about 41 games in the year they're playing. So that adds up really quickly, especially if you get cold. That can add up. So
oh jeez, you don't bus anywhere, do you?
No,
like from like the hotel obviously to the game. And
yeah,
like
there's
from the
always a bus from when we land, and then we bus to every hotel and stuff like that. But we fly everywhere pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do teams bus at all? Like close teams?
I don't think so. I think
Is there even one
in the
that'd
G
be
League
close
we
enough?
bussed. We played a game where we played in Cleveland and Detroit. That's like a 90-minute, 2-hour drive. It's not bad. So we bus that. And I think you bus more in the G League than you do in the NBA. They kind of fly everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's what I thought. No, I was just curious. Okay. Well, we talked about like you brought up the G League, so I want to talk about that a little bit because you killed the G League, like average 20, pretty much like 20 and 10, 23 and 10,
something around there.
Around there. So like when you're going up and down like that, like you're kind of you just want to play, but like obviously you want to be with the big club as well. But are the people from like, whoever sends you down, are they telling you like, yo, like just go dominate, like go get buckets, like what's the message, like, or is it like I want you to work on
Shoot them up.
Is there like I want you to like work on something?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a little bit of both, and I think for me it changed a little bit throughout the year because our G League team was so good. I think at first, when me and Saban Lee and a couple of guys would go down, we'd play 40 minutes a game, and it's just about like getting shots up, like knowing the spots that you're going to get shots in the game and kind of working on those. And that the coaches that work with me with the Pistons were kind of telling me, work on your pick and pops or like let's try that floater out in the short roll, all these stuff that I've been working on. And so, I try to do a lot of that. And I think more towards like halfway through the year when it was like we had the number one team in the G League, it's like, okay, we're really trying to win down here. And we had some great bigs, Check Diallo, who played in the NBA for, 4 or 5 years, was down there as well. So, now it was more about, it turned into more about playing for the team and playing team ball, trying to win because, we wanted to win the G League. And obviously we had some injuries down the stretch where we couldn't make it that far. But it was still a valuable experience to kind of get that both. And I think either way, when the proximity of the G League team to your NBA team is so close, like we were all in Detroit, we practiced at the same facility. It made it so easy. It was like we have an off day, and they're like, okay, you don't need an off day. You didn't play much last night, so go play 40 minutes in the G League against a really good team, and you'll be surprised with how many really great players are down there. And there's a lot of good games.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, with that, we're gonna take a quick break.
Yes, sir.
Being an athlete means pushing your body to its limits. At the Recenter, Coralville's all-new holistic wellness center, you can get back in the game much quicker. The Recenter offers a wide array of athletic recovery treatments such as IV therapy, mild hyperbaric chamber, oxygen therapy, infrared sauna, and Normatec compression therapy.
So whether you have a big game or marathon you're training for, or you're recovering from a tough workout, come to the Recenter to get rehydrated, refreshed, and recovered much quicker. Call 319-694-6086 to schedule an appointment. Student discounts are available.
A night out at El Rey's is a great time because you got the live music in the front, which is usually like some country vibes, a little bit, but you can go to the back and then it's like a nightclub type atmosphere. So like you get the best of both worlds from both sides, and bartenders take care of you. It's a good spot. We know some bouncers there, great dudes. Yeah. Shout out Loudon. And the owner is also a phenomenal guy. So
based on the lines, you would think that the music is unbelievable, which it is. So I highly suggest that everybody goes to El Rey's.
It's packed all the time.
Yeah, we're back. Episode 23 with Luka Garza. Season 2, episode 1, I like to call it. Shout out Joey out there. Yep, Joey. No, but Luka, I don't really have a question. Something will come to mind.
You're the worst. You might be subbed out. Just go sit outside. I want to know what your favorite matchup was like this whole year. Like,
I think for me, it was Jakob Poeltl from the Spurs.
Yeah, because you cooked him. That's why.
Conveniently, those were my 2 best games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I did really like playing against him. He was the number 1 offensive rebounder in the NBA this year.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he was all over the glass.
That's insane. What did he average?
It was a good number. I think it was 4 around there, 4 to 5. And that's pretty good when he's averaging like 9-10 rebounds a game. And his percentage rate of getting to the glass and doing stuff like that was impressive. So that was a challenge for me on both ends. I was trying to get offensive rebounds, and I think when we played them January 1st, I think I had 14 boards and 9 of them were offensive. So it was a good matchup. I think we both play really hard, and he's got some really good skill like on his floaters and I think that game was just a lot of fun in general. We won on a game winner. Sadiq Bey hit like the craziest kind of step back 3 in the corner, like almost hit the glass. It was.
I remember we watched that entire game.
Well, we should have won in regulation, and then they got a rebound off a Jakob Poeltl missed free throw. It was an insane game, and it was a COVID game because it was we had Sadiq Bey, me, Hamidou Diallo. Those were the only guys from the roster. The rest was our G League team. Shout out Derek Walton. He was hooping. He played really well that game, and he was hooping all year in the G League, and now he's going to be in Australia. So shout out to him. But that was
shout out Derek Walton.
That was a fun matchup because we won, and obviously I got to play a good amount in that.
Yeah. What was it like going back to like DC? Like, were you with the squad when you went back to DC?
Yes, they made sure we in the organization we had a lot of guys from DC. Troy Weaver, our GM is a DC legend, and we had so many Jamarco Pickett, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, we had DC Rodney Magruder, so many DC guys. So when we went back, it was special. I think for all of us. I got to see, my hometown friends and they were in the crowd, and I've seen my parents and stuff like that. And it was just cool. I'd been to Wizards game as a kid, and so to be there playing, myself, that was really special.
Yeah. Did you have like a favorite NBA arena?
I think honestly, I would go back to Philly because I thought it was like, while being a cool arena, the fans were crazy, and so it was like most like college in terms of that environment. But I liked Miami's arena a lot too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you say Philly. I was at your Philly game, which was the last game of the year, and you had like 20 and 13 or something, and you kind of got hot like for a stretch. And I just remember, like, we already talked about Philly fans. We can like blank this out, but like some like old Philly guy next to me was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, you're like, you went on like a stretch, and it's like, "Who the fuck is this big white guy? Like, why is he cooking?" Like, cause like, I mean, we don't need to like say names, but the starting center for them at the time, it wasn't Embiid, but like he like didn't seem very interested in playing that night. Like,
yeah, it was their last game of the year. They were making the playoffs. You know,
he's like a 12-year vet. Like,
for me, it's like this is game time. Like, I'm getting 30 minutes tonight. You know, I'm trying to put them up. So no, it was a game like, you know, that's the worst kind of player to play is me. Like, I'm going all over the glass. I'm trying to get every rebound,
trying to do everything
and stuff like that. But I would say the other place I would say was one of my favorite places to play was Staples Center, because like growing up, the Lakers, all of that. And actually, I have a funny story about the Staples Center.
Tell the story.
We're at halftime, and we're like getting shots up, and I didn't play in the first half, like playing the Lakers. I'm just getting my shots up, like really locked in, because like, you know, when you're not playing, you know, you got your workout before the game, and you got to find times like when you get halftime, you kind of got to go hard. You want to get a little sweat in and stuff like that. And so I'm looking over, and I see like all the stars in the front row, and like Floyd Mayweather is over there just sitting, and he starts like waving in my direction, and I'm like, I just keep shooting. I'm like, there's no way he's like waving at me. I thought Cade was right next to me, so I'm like, okay, he's talking to Cade. And then Cade comes up to me, and he's like, yo, like, Floyd wants to talk to you. I'm like, what? What is going on? So I walk over there, and I talk to him. He's like, dude, like, you were a hooper. I watched you all in college. Like, I loved your game. Like, yo, you got to get out here, get some buckets, man. I'm like, hey, I'm trying. So that was like one of the most surreal moments of my life. It was like Floyd Mayweather's calling me over.
He's like,
and he was a big Iowa fan. There we go Hawks. But, no, that was crazy.
Joey liked that.
If there's like a side bet you could have placed on like Floyd Mayweather watching college basketball, like what would Iowa be at in those odds?
I bet
like,
it's because I bet it's just because he's like an insane sports bettor.
Yeah, I bet he was just.
I bet he threw like
passionate
100
on
racks
us.
a game.
And I bet I just probably won him some money, and he's like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, of course, like, this guy is just letting me win money. Something he loves it.
He doesn't need much more of that, but
Yeah, I mean that's true.
He does, because he needs to pay the TBT guys more, his TBT guys, because they never won.
the basketball tournament. They just had that at the basketball tournament.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Shout out Buffalo, they won.
Okay. Thanks for the shout out to Buffalo.
They won, man. $1 million.
Yeah, they did. Did you get to play in the Garden this year?
yes,
So-
I played in there a couple of times.
Okay, because we went like the Garden when we played in there freshman year or redshirt. Your sophomore year, my redshirt freshman year was you were the MVP of the 2K Classic, whatever. So like clearly that was like your gym, and then we go back. That was not. You know, we gotta be careful on whose gym we land at. But like in terms of like Iowans, like that was like your gym. So like then you go back there, like what was that? Did you like have that same feel? Like you're like, yo,
No,
been there, done that.
That was one of those games where, you know, I felt, you know, really confident going into the game. Obviously, I didn't, you know, I played a little bit, and you know, I was able to get like an offensive rebound putback. I played like, you know, three minutes or so like that in the preseason, and I was able to get a bucket. And then I'm like, yeah, this gym always gives me some good luck. Even when we played there my freshman year in the Big Ten tournament, I had a couple good games as well. So, you know, the Garden's been good to me. But you know, it was crazy just being there for a Knicks game too. Like it is a little bit different than, you know, I remember obviously, you know, just seeing all those people out there watching the Knicks and, you know, playing against them. And, you know, the preseason game, it was like I got on a switch with like Derrick Rose, and I'm like, what is happening right here? Like, this is crazy. Obviously, this was preseason too, so this was like, I think my second road game because we had just played at Memphis. So it was a lot of fun, and I've got to experience, you know, the Garden in college and now in the NBA, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's unreal. I want to talk about rookie duties. Like the things that they make you do. Like first of all, for those who don't understand, like when you You can explain, like,
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
the premise of like rookie dudes as a whole, and then we'll talk about what your specific ones were.
For sure. I was pretty lucky, but most oftentimes you'll find a team that has a lot of veterans, and they'll go after the rookies. They'll make the rookies do whatever. I've heard stories like, they call rookies at 3 a.m. to go get them from the gas station the night before a game, or different things you have to do, bring food to the plane, and different things, or they threaten to like popcorn your car and do a bunch of stuff to mess with you throughout the year. So I think they're just kind of like in a light form of like almost like hazing, trying to get guys acclimated into the league, and so everyone's done it, even like, besides the only person I've heard that hasn't done it was like Shaq, who said no, and everyone was like, okay, because he's gigantic. But Steph Curry, has talked about him doing it. But for me, I had a couple. Like I said, I was lucky we didn't have an extreme amount of veterans. But for me, I had to go get food before the plane, and it sounds simple, but they wanted Captain Jay's Fish and Chicken. Shout out to Captain Jay's Fish and Chicken. The service there is not great, but I'm still giving you a shout out.
You had to wait there for forever.
We'd finish practice, and I'd have to like shower quick. I wouldn't sometimes just water, a little bit of soap. I got to get out of there. I got to call ahead. I got to sit there in Captain Jay's Fish and Chicken and wait all day because they want so much food. They want the catfish. They want the chicken tenders. They want some wings, lemon pepper. Got to get the fries. And I'm like, I got my new car and I'm putting all this food in there. And my car smells like catfish and I'm like zooming it to try to get to the plane on time. I'm texting all the people. I'm like, yo, I might be a couple minutes late. Like, don't find me, please. I'm getting everybody food. So I did that a couple times.
Don't find me, please.
And they take care of you, but it is definitely not the easiest job. And they also, they gave us these. Our equipment manager kind of does it too. Our shoe bags they give us are bright pink, and that's only for the rookies. And then we get these backpacks. And I remember my girlfriend came over for the first time in Detroit, and she was like, why do you have that backpack over there? Because it's a pink backpack with like a unicorn and like a rainbow on it. And so we had to take these into every NBA arena, and they're just like all the security guards just making fun of us. We're walking through the tunnel. Like, guys want to get on League Fits. We want to look good. We want to have
cool.
our pictures.
Come on.
We got these like pink backpacks on. So, that was tough. And you always got to make sure we get the towels and stuff like that. By the time the game ends, everybody wants their towels to go shower and stuff like that. So the rookies got to go get those. And if you don't, they popcorn your car. They popcorned one of the rookies' cars, but it wasn't me. I think
They popcorn somebody else's car.
yeah, they popcorn somebody. But they use styrofoam because some places they'll use regular popcorn. You get butter all in your seats.
Yeah.
And like that's worse. But they use the styrofoam little things that you get in those packages and just filled his entire car.
Like it was impossible to get into the car.
Yeah, I mean,
correct.
yeah. 100%.
Like you couldn't even open the door.
Like I don't even know. I wasn't like I left, so I don't even know what he did to like actually get out of there because that's a lot of styrofoam.
What are you supposed to do? Like if you come back to your car, like say you got to be somewhere, and it's just full of. What do you do with that styrofoam? You just
Leave it.
Leave it.
Please, it's not the popcorn. That's
Dude, the popcorn would be so.
that's
bad.
worse. Like imagine buying a brand new car. I mean, I bought a brand new car and mine smells like catfish now. But I think the butter would be a little bit worse.
Does it still smell like catfish?
I think there's still like a little. There might be some fries like somewhere because I was driving reckless trying to get to the plane.
Yeah, you're
so
trying to
I
get there.
knocked some stuff over. So
And we know you're not the greatest driver. right?
yeah, I'm not very skilled in that area. But short distances, I can get it going.
I'm not
Captain
gonna out you like that, like on the pod. We don't have to get into that. But now that you're back here, like is there like something like what like did you miss anything about like Iowa City?
Honestly, not to be weird, but I missed you guys a lot.
Pause.
That's adorable.
I think being around that brotherhood, being around your teammates every day, getting to go to the gym and stuff like that. I think that's something that you lose a little bit in the NBA because everyone's got their own lives. So it's just a little bit different in terms of that. And so that was what made college so special for me was, I was living with my all my best friends and my whole team was my best friend. So I think that was a fun part. Obviously, there's some food spots. Shout out to Stella's.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. Get the buff burrito. But no, there's always stuff like that as well. And being in Carver, being around Coach Fran. It's pretty cool, and even today, I was going to the training room to get taped because we played pickup, and I walked in and saw like first time I went to go look at it, and I saw my jersey up there in the rafters. So that was a special moment for me.
Slight
as well.
flex.
And that's I think anytime I go back, it's something I'm going to see and be like, wow, I can't believe that happened.
Do you think you'll be able to like come to any games next year, depending on like what the situation is?
I'm
like,
gonna try.
If you can, you're gonna try.
I'm gonna absolutely try.
Type thing. Yeah.
Definitely gonna try. I'm gonna watch every game no matter what, but I'm gonna try to come back.
Dude, I remember we won. So we win like the Big Ten championship, and like my phone's going crazy, right? Like everyone texts me, calling me, whatever. But like you like hadn't texted me yet.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even text me nothing. So I look at the ESPN app. I'm like, oh, like the Pistons are playing right now.
Had it recorded. Had no one tell me. I had some Big Ten people on the staff. I'm like, if anybody tells me what happens in this game, good or bad, I'm gonna be so mad. So no one told me. As soon as I got out of the game, I know people were trying to yell at me in the crowd. Like I was like covering my ears, like didn't want to hear. I wasn't locked in at all. I didn't get in this game. That's probably a good thing.
Thank God.
I drove straight home, turned it on, recorded it, watched it, and then I ended up calling you guys.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And the game before, I think it was like you guys played Indiana, or it might have been.
It was Indiana.
Yeah. And I was almost late for the bus because the game was like getting down to crunch time, and I'm watching, and we're playing at Boston. And I actually played pretty good in Boston, so I think it kind of helped me a little bit.
Good.
But I was watching, and like it
Please,
was like
no
getting close
overtime.
to the bus times. I'm like, and J-Bo hit the three. I'm like, yes, I could make it to the bus. So I run down there, get on the bus, and got to the game. So that was pretty fun.
You're on like Coach Beeline is with Detroit. Like he was like, was he looking out for you? Like what?
Yeah, Coach B was awesome all year. I think for me and him had kind of a special connection just because we still like were big fans of college basketball. We would talk about the games and just in general, like he really liked coaching against me, and he I liked playing against his teams, and so it was just like a common respect there, and every day getting to work with him was really special. And I know he's close with your dad as well, so that kind of helped. He would be like, "Oh, I just texted Fran today. Like, you went like, I did really well in some shooting drill." He's like, "Yeah, first person I called yesterday was Fran. Just tell him how good you're doing it." And so it was always cool having like a friendly face there.
Yeah.
And he really did a great job. He kind of runs most of our kind of skill development, kind of runs all our workouts, and I love the stuff he did. You could tell like why so many guys in Michigan developed the way they did.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest drill you had to do all year?
I think for me, Coach B is a fundamental guy. And so when we first got there, for me, I understood what he was doing just because I'd been in college a lot. But, some of these guys, these veterans, haven't been in college a while. It's a little bit different for them. And Coach B is having us do, like, a bounce pass drill, working on, like, passing. And, I can look over and I see, like, a couple of our veterans, like, what are we doing right now? I've been in the NBA 10 years. Why am I working on bounce passing? But, no, I think he was really always focused on the fundamentals. And he had, like, a crazy version of the mic-in that I had never done, like where it was timed. And,
If you haven't
and
done
you
a
had to
version,
You haven't done that version.
Yeah, no, it was.
Where did he come up with this?
I know it was impressive. So we went through it, and I was like, I love that. And I think it was like you had one ball in each hand, and there was like a timing aspect to it. You had to get a certain number or something like that.
did Frank steal it?
He might be in the camp. You'll see.
Yeah, if you want to know the drill, come to camp.
Yeah, for sure. But he also had so many like unique shooting drills, and I think that was the coolest part. He'd be like, Duncan Robinson did this one every single day, and that's why like his high scores. And me, I'm a competitive guy, so anytime I hear someone has a high score, I got to try to chase it and get as close as I can to it. And I got it in a couple of the different guys' drill, but there was one of them I just couldn't get. Duncan had that one pretty good.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah, it was a pretty incredible number.
I mean, he's a pretty good shooter. So.
Yeah.
He got $90 million literally just to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
He does it well.
Shoot
He
the
does it
ball.
well.
Does Beeline, like, is he still, like, a huge, like, Michigan guy? Like, does he
Yes.
still, like, follow? Okay, yeah.
Every
I figured.
football games, basketball games. I went to a football game down there, and he was there. He like put some stuff at his house because he still lives down there in Ann Arbor. So he's still a huge Michigan fan, even through, he was so excited. We had some friendly wagers on the Iowa football championship. I lost a little bit. I had to wear like a Michigan hat and take a picture.
Yeah, I saw
He put it all over Twitter. Embarrassed me, but it's all good. You guys
you
got
bet
him
on our
once.
games?
You guys got him once this year.
We
I
split.
had a friendly bet with Isaiah Liver, so I took him for a little bit. So
Nice. That's big. Okay, well, I want to talk about Summer League as well. Summer League champ.
Absolutely.
Summer League champ.
Okay, like yeah, they won. But,
ring.
like they won, but like no, I'm not even gonna say it. I was gonna say something mean.
Okay, well, we got the ring. So
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I mean, the ring is done by like Jason of Beverly Hills. The same guy does the Super Bowl ring. Same guy does the NBA championship ring. So it's like a real deal ring, which was like pretty crazy. It's like everyone got like whatever size.
Can you sell it?
I might have had to pawn it and take it to the tables, but no.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just kidding.
Why wouldn't we do that?
It was a really cool experience. I only had kind of like a couple hours to decide who I was going to go with for Summer League based on the Detroit situation. But I'm glad I figured it out with Detroit. They had a lot of guys in their roster. I learned some valuable things from those guys and competing against them. And it was literally like the same group, towards the end of the year with the Pistons, we played against that group when they were sort of like, tanking or whatever. And we were playing our guys as well, and it was like literally the same like lineups in Summer League that they were playing with towards the end of the year. So those guys have bonded with each other. They're really good, and I think they're going to be really good in the future.
Yeah. So like for those of you who don't know, Patrick and I and my dad, we always go to Patrick and I went to Summer League last year with Austin to come and see you, Wheezy, whatever, TC, and then this past year we came out with my dad. Swapped Austin out. Unfortunately, he would have loved to come. But Summer League's awesome.
Yeah,
like Summer League's fun for like a fan because
if you want to watch basketball, go to Summer League. There's games literally all day.
You just get a ticket and just go to games all day.
Your favorite players that you've seen in college, or guys that you think are going to be really good in the league, everyone's there. The number one picks play there. Every star player that you see in the league has played in Summer League, has played in Vegas. And that's really special. You got guys talking about, I saw LeBron when he came to Vegas. I saw Cade Cunningham his first year, stuff like that. So it really is special. It's a cool environment. And I remember last year was like really special as well because we hadn't, at least for me and most places in college, you didn't have many fans. So this was like our first exposure to like having fans again in the stadium. Yeah. It was, sold out. We had a game against, it was Cade versus Jalen Green, and it was just a crazy environment. It was like, wow, I missed this. It'd been a while since there'd been a full crowd that I was playing in front of.
Yeah. No, that was because we were at that game too, and that was like sold out, like you said, but like the crowd was into it.
I mean, everyone was talking about this Jalen Green versus Cade, and there were so many good players on both sides because we both had a lot of draft picks or younger guys playing, and this was early in Summer League, so it was really, really competitive, and it was a lot of fun. And I think we ended up losing that game. But still, it was a really, really cool environment and experience to have.
Yeah, and there's so much else to do in Vegas too.
Oh, for sure.
Like we were we went shopping the one day. Like saw you out. We went to the tables, just to the casino. We went to dinner. Like we were doing everything. It's just too hot.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
But there's so many different types of people out there. Businessmen, people like investors. Everybody coming to Vegas. They want to meet the NBA players. They want to do all this sort of stuff. So you just walk through these tunnels. You can meet so many different people, and I think that's pretty cool. Everyone's in one spot, and kind of like anybody who's interested in basketball in any aspect is there.
Are we allowed to talk about the tunnels?
I think we can just talk about it and then we can see. I don't think there should be a problem about that.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I didn't sign an NDA
or anything like that.
I signed an NDA to go to SpaceX.
Yeah, so
I can't talk about the inside of space. I can say we went there, but I can't say.
Yeah. But, okay. Well, if let's talk about the tunnels, and if we got to cut it, we got to cut it.
I can ask.
Yeah.
So when I was in Vegas, there was a couple people I've met, from almost networking, but some of the guys on my team, Kelly Olynyk. Going to his wedding this weekend, but he had a friend that I met at one of his events, and me and Kelly, he let me tag along, and we got to go see something pretty special. The Boring Company, which is a company that Elon Musk has started. Pretty much, he's trying to build these tunnels underneath the ground, and to kind of. His problem was traffic, so he wanted to solve it. And, he's in LA, obviously, so he's trying to do this in LA, but he's also trying to do it in Vegas. And he's figured it out where, in the future, you'll be able to land in Las Vegas Airport and go 7 minutes to Encore underground in a Tesla, and it'll be, like a Metro, $2 a pop or whatever. So it's really going to change, the way traffic is in Vegas, because they can just keep building different tunnels to get to these same spaces, and I think that's going to help, Vegas, but also LA when he figures it out there. So that was a pretty cool experience to be there, be around the people that were there, and I think that's all. What's important about being in the NBA is not only being in the NBA, working as hard as you can as a player, but using the brain and the platform that you've created by becoming one of the 450 players that are in the NBA to meet people and figure out stuff you can do outside of basketball.
Yeah.
Did you meet Elon Musk?
I did not.
That guy's nuts.
I did not.
Bought Twitter.
There's just some discrepancy there. But you also, like you mentioned, like using the connections and networking and everything. You went to Broadcaster U.
Yeah, so this
NBPA.
was something that was really cool. Shout out to NBPA. They've done so much to help the players, and it's really, really cool. And they do these programs in the off season. I went to 2 this summer, which was really fun. But one of them was Broadcaster U. That's something that I've always been interested in. Going through after junior and senior year, where I was on a lot of podcasts, doing a lot of interviews. I just realized I really love talking about the game of basketball, and I got the chance at the Final Four to go on. I think it was like CBS Sports and like talk about the upcoming matchup, and it was just something I was really interested in. So Broadcast to You is basically like a program they do in 3 days and at the USC studio, a broadcasting studio for their School of Journalism, and you go through everything. You call a game, you do interviews, you're in the studio, panel debates, you're doing every type of thing you see in broadcasting, and they have so many cool people there. Ryan Hollins, Casey Jacobson, Rob Parker from FS1, and there's a bunch of us guys that were in it, and so it was a really special experience, kind of to go through everything that you would in broadcasting and kind of see if you're interested in, and I absolutely loved it. So I see it as something that is definitely a future career for myself.
What was like the next step then in terms of like broadcasting? Like, what do you do next? Obviously, you're focusing on 100% basketball, but like, is there more steps you have to do? More camps, more auditions?
Do you like get a degree, or like how does that work?
Yeah, like how
so
does
like
that...
basically, they when you're at Broadcast U, everything's being filmed. So they create basically a demo reel for you.
Okay.
And they have people there that go through them with you. And I honestly got the text like today that mine's coming out soon, the reel, and they're gonna have like a Zoom where I go through it and break down each of the different parts, what I was good at, what I wasn't good at, what I should work at, and obviously I'm pretty young, so I got a long time to kind of work on those things. So there's definitely things you can do, just kind of meeting people, networking, understanding, the people that are in the industry, continuing to learn and try some things of your own. So
what were you good at that in your mind, and like what were you like not as good? Like what was the hardest part about being a broadcaster?
The hardest part, honestly, was the game call. I think when you're watching the game and you're just seeing it, you don't really understand how hard it is. I think as an analyst, you got to really have a rhythm with your play-by-play guy. He's going through the plays. He's telling you what's happening. You have to kind of explain how. We got to do it quickly, and especially in an NBA game, everything's happening so fast. You kind of got to get in, get out, get your point across, and keep it going, because you don't want to interrupt him. He has to tell you, he has to talk through the game. That was definitely the hardest part, but it still was a lot of fun. It was a little bit easier. We did like a pre-recorded version of like one of the games of the NBA Finals, so we kind of knew what happened and stuff like that. But I'm sure like when you're there in the crowd, your general excitement for everything will make it a lot easier to go through. But that was definitely the most difficult part. The most natural was the studio part. I think that was a lot of fun, just breaking down games, breaking down individuals' legacies, their accomplishments, stuff like that, and what the NBA Finals meant and all of that different stuff. It was pretty cool to talk about. And we had some really, really good guys in Broadcast U with me, so it made it really easy. And honestly, the debate was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah. Do you think like a podcast could like help you in that?
Absolutely.
In that area?
I think like you were talking about next steps. I think that's something I want to do in the future to kind of keep working on it while I'm still playing the game. And you see so many people that do it really well, and so I think that's definitely the next step for me. So stay tuned. I got something coming your way.
Stay tuned.
Yes, sir. Podcast coming soon.
I think that was like honestly like I think it was kind of like JJ Redick's like intro into TV.
Absolutely.
And same with like some other people as well, like Matt Barnes. Like they see what he did in like All the Smoke, and then he comes in and he's doing ESPN. Like JJ had his pod, and now he's coming in and he's doing ESPN. Like it was almost like they did the pod first, and like that's what they were interested in.
For sure.
Then, but then people could see like how good they were at talking about basketball and talking about just different topics, and then they just move them right over into TV.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to kind of make that transition into TV is going through that, because getting interviews, being interviewed by people, that's not the same thing.
No, it's completely different.
When I went through Broadcast U, it was like that's the only experience I'd had of like I have been interviewed by a good amount of people. So I know I'm talking about basketball, but it's a lot different when you're asking the questions, when you're talking to people, when you're trying to be natural on camera, when you're trying to show like you got to be energized, you got to show emotion, you got to do all this stuff. That's harder than it looks, and so it definitely is a way that you can make the transition kind of seamless and continue to work on those skills while you're playing, because now you see guys that are going on, NBA on TNT or wherever while they're still playing, and I think those are the guys that are also working on their skills by doing stuff like podcasts, like Draymond Green,
Right.
Is one of the best examples of that.
CJ McCollum,
Yeah,
Draymond
for sure.
Green, go down the line. Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't want to take too much of your time, but thank you so much for joining us. This was fun. This was great. We covered a lot of ground, a lot of questions, a lot of interesting
Absolutely.
topics. But thank you for coming on. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys, man. Shout out to Stella's. I'm gonna have to
Yes, sir.
crush some tacos after this.
Yeah, we out.
Hey Connor, remember when we went to the Kimball Beecher Family Dentistry?
I do. It was a great spot.
They got us out. They got us in and out quick. Very thorough teeth cleaning, and they told me my teeth were amazing.
So they are good at lying as well.
Well, I would hope that. I would hope not.
Well, normally at the dentist, like you don't get in and out very quick, and like they like got us right in, took care of everything. The nurses were great. The dentist was great that we saw. They have multiple locations, and they take care of you. So we have to shout out the Kimball Beecher Family Dentistry.
Mr. Beecher is the man.
He brought us he's the GOAT.
Now, from our friends at McDonald Optical. If Mr. McDonald is nearly as feisty as he was on the sidelines watching 8 through 10-year-old Jack and his son Nolan, that means if you go to his eye doctor place, you got to be in good shape. He's going to take care of you.
Yeah, he's going to take care. If you're having any issues with your optics, you got to go to McDonald Optical, because he's definitely going to look after you. He's got the solution for whatever your problem might be. And great people over there, 100%.
And take care of you.
Yeah, without a doubt.